Yo, hey guys, SmallmouthCrush. I wanted to make a video talking a little bit about bass fishing up here in these two counties that I frequent. I'm going to get into what the DEC here in New York has to say, and I'm going to give you my opinion, and I'm just going to, we'll call it a rant. I like rants. No, we're not talking about rakes or skinwalkers. We're talking about smallmouth and largemouth bass, black bass. It's all. All right, I decided to take a little drive today, check some things out. I get a lot of questions whenever I post, especially this time of year, about bass fishing. Is it open? Is it closed? Is it illegal? Is it not? And so I wanted to make a video to kind of help educate, as well as talk about my frustrations with everything. And we'll kind of see where that leads us. So currently, in New York, you can catch bass and fish for bass anywhere you want, except for two counties, and that is St. Lawrence and Jefferson County. These two counties, which basically cover the whole St. Lawrence River, at least a big majority of it until you hit Canada, and a pretty good size amount of fishable water out on Lake Ontario. So to clarify that, you have to look at the county lines and where they end. Jefferson ends somewhere near the Salmon River, and once you hit that magic line, you're allowed to catch bass all year round, both largemouth and smallmouth. And believe me, the fishing is just as good on the southern part of Lake Ontario, Oswego, Mexico Bay, Salmon River, Rochester, and then all the way over to basically the mouth of Niagara River. That's totally cool. But if you want to come up here, you cannot even target smallmouth for roughly 6 months out of the year. So New York will close smallmouth fishing on November 30th, and then they'll reopen it on June 15th. Why? I have no idea. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So this rule has been in place as long as I can remember. Now, our neighbors to the north, Canada, decided to allow a special season, well, an extended season, I should say. So in Canada, which is just across the water, the same fish hang out in Canada and the US. They go back and forth, I'm sure. Canadian bass, you're allowed to catch them all the way up until May 10th, and then it's closed until the first Saturday in July. And I believe that's to help protect the spawn, whatever that really means. I'll tell you what, so smallmouth in general here on the St. Lawrence River will spawn starting in May, and there will still be plenty of fish on beds in July. So it's literally, there's 3 months that these fish are spawning. Not all fish spawn at once, and it ranges. They'll spawn in 3 feet of water, they'll spawn in 25 feet of water. Now, with that being said, what are the reasons why the DEC want to close bass fishing in November? They're definitely not spawning in November. Now, December, I get it. Well, I don't get the closed part, but limited access. Things are going to start freezing. And, you know, once we get into that mid-December range, I would say 50% of the boat ramps won't be usable because of ice. Now, there's still going to be plenty that are open. Water temps are going to be falling. And yes, you can still target smallmouth. Unfortunately, in the U.S. side, New York, not legally, because they want to close it down. So we're missing a good, I'm going to say 15 days. 15 to 30 days where you may have weather that's decent enough to go out and target fish. But we can't because it's closed. In Canada, you can. You can launch a boat here in the U.S., go across the border, and catch all the smallmouth you want during that time frame. So, January, February, we got ice. We got boat ramps that just, they're frozen over most of the time. Yes, you could probably launch in a couple of the rivers that have some current on a good year. But more than likely, you're ice fishing. Still can't target them, though. Do I want to target bass ice fishing? I don't know, not really. Have I ever done it? Yes, but it's just not my thing. But that's besides the point. March comes around. You can start heading into Canada and target them. April for sure, and up until May 10th. So it's great fishing. It's just, for some reason, New York State and the DEC claim it's to protect the spawn. But man, do they have it all wrong. And they have to be the most, there's some politics behind this. There's something. Because we went to a meeting about 2 years ago in Alexandria Bay. They had the head DEC person there. They went through all these survey studies, and they were trying to get a feel. And a lot of bass anglers showed up. It was a very good crowd that was all about opening up the season, maybe an early season, whatever. I stood up and said, listen, I don't understand why we're even talking about having a bass season. There's no other place in the country that I'm aware of, on the Great Lakes especially, that have a closed season for bass. And I know DEC and this community, they think that this is the #1 bass fishing destination. And yes, it's good. But is it as good as Lake Superior? Is it as good as Door County? Lake Michigan? The Bay of Green Bay? Lake Erie? I don't know. I think all the Great Lakes are good. And I think certain places are better than others. But can you compare the Thousand Islands region to, say, Bay de Noc and say it's better? I mean, what are they protecting? All those places are open year-round for catch and release. I do not understand what the issue is here. Let us fish. Let us just catch and release. But the rules state no targeting of bass. Yet, every day I drive by the boat ramps, and when I'm out on the water, sometimes this year I idle. I use my electronics just looking for new stuff. Did a lot of perch fishing, brown trout trolling, walleye fishing, northern pike fishing. Yet, I see bass boats all over the place, all up and down, right up against the bank, right on the rocks, right on the islands. What are they doing? They're targeting bass. Whether they know it's illegal or not, they're doing it. From my standpoint, I'm a fishing guide. I make my living taking clients fishing for bass. The majority of the time is what we're targeting. And so I can't be out there breaking the rules, even though I think it's the dumbest rule involving fishing. I guess that would be looked down upon, right? But every day there's dozens of bass boats out there, and nobody that I know of, let me know in the comments if you heard of anyone getting tickets. And for those that are coming up here that know the rules and know that it's illegal and still go out there, listen, I don't agree with the rules, but I'm not going to break the rules. So do what you want, but I don't know. It's not cool in my book. Do I agree the rules should be removed? Yes. But I don't know what to do. I don't know who to reach out to. I don't know who to talk to about this. You know, you got guides, especially in the Henderson area, that are posting, they're taking clients out every day during the closed season. Now they're trolling, right? They got these big tuna boats and pickerel and pike. occasional pike, and you're going to catch a handful of bass too, trolling around those husky jerks and that shallow water. And they're posting pictures of their clients holding these bass, even though it's illegal to target them. Yet they don't seem to get any backlash. So I don't know what the answer is here, but technically it's illegal. It's the dumbest rule in the world, and I wish I knew. I wish there was something us anglers could do to encourage the DEC to look into this, to open up the season, but they just won't. And so there's a hidden agenda, because it's not to protect the spawn. I'm going to tell you what's happening. This happens almost every freaking year. June 15th is going to roll around. 80% of those bass are on beds on June 15th. Recreational anglers, hardcore bass anglers, everyone's going to be flooded up here and beat this place up for 2-3 solid weeks, targeting bass on beds. When if they just let it open, guys can come up here at their leisure. They can target pre-spawn fish. They don't have to cram in at the boat ramps and flood this place for 2 weeks because the season finally opens. You know what else it's going to do? Instead of everybody, all 40 boats at a ramp in May heading over to Canadian waters, just pillaging those fish in those bays for weeks on end, you're going to be able to open up a lot more water to fish and spread out the boats. You're going to bring more anglers to the community, and we're all going to have a much better experience on the river. But for some reason, they don't want that. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Let me know if there's any solution. Is there any contacts you guys have at the DEC? Is anyone listening to us anglers? And why is this rule on the books to stop us targeting bass in November, December, January, February, March, April, May even? Early season, Canadian side, there was some fish on beds that last week in May. Happens every year. And it all runs in stages here. Main River right now is 53 degrees. There's definitely some fish on beds right now. The bays are going to be warmer. So any of the bays, they're going to have fish. There's going to be certain sections of this river that the fish spawn later, and certain spots on the main lake where they'll spawn later as well. You go offshore, 10, 15 miles out of here, and those fish are not going to be spawning here for a little while yet. They're all in pre-spawn mode. But they're going to be on beds both when Canada opens as well as the US. It just does not make sense to me. All right, we're going to just pull into the boat ramp here and see how many bass boats are pike fishing today. Uh-oh. We just got one. We got one pike fisherman. Although he comes up here and spends the majority of his summer targeting bass, maybe he wants to see how the pike bite's doing here today. Or maybe he's graphing. Bet he's sticking a few though. I'm not going to, there's another guy from Pennsylvania. I'm not going to put this guy on blast. He's from Alabama, but man, maybe he's graphing. He didn't catch a bass today. There's not as many anglers here today, bass guys, but man, when I'm out there perch fishing this week, there was bass guys everywhere. There's only 2 guys right now. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so they may have launched and been on their way. But this is what happens. It's totally ridiculous. All right, we're gonna just hop out. I'm gonna show you the sign that they have up here, pretty much at every boat ramp. It says, "Attention anglers, bass fishing regulations. Fishing for black bass, including catch and release, is prohibited outside the open season on all waters of Jefferson County and St. Lawrence County." Here it is. All right, there you go. Does not make any sense. Listen, I do not agree with the rules. I think it's terrible. I mean, allow us to catch some fish. You know what I mean? Like, the government's telling us we can't just catch and release. Like, anyways, this rule is very frustrating. I would love to take advantage of fishing all through May and June up here. My guiding season starts on the 15th, and I will be basically booked doubles every day for quite some time. And we're going to be targeting fish on beds. We're going to do a lot of things. And I don't know. There's no way around it. Because our spawn lasts 3 months, you're always going to be catching fish during this time frame. Even if you're blind casting, you're going to be messing with the spawn. Again, look around the other Great Lakes. Amazing fishing. And they're allowed to catch them year-round. I just don't understand it. There's a lot of fish out here. So many fish. There is so many fish that are going to be making beds this year, and nobody's going to find their beds. Nobody's going to be fishing those bass. Yes, community holes, they're going to get pounded. The bays, the stuff close to Clayton, all that stuff, yes. But there's a lot of fish we don't see. I promise you. And it's a healthy fishery. It is what it is. All right, before I let you go, I also want to say, you know, in the early season, I was making guide videos. So basically recording every day I was out on the water and then uploading that video at night. And it sounded like a great idea at the time, but I'm going to be straight up with you guys. It is a pain to get back from fishing, especially if I have a double, rig up, and then go deal with this and put that all together before the next day. So because I'm out there every day and it's just a lot of videos, I'm going to do more of a weekly fishing report. So that's on my YouTube channel. Obviously, you're watching this on my YouTube channel, SmallmouthCrush. But I'm probably going to do like a week video, a week-long video of my trips, do different clips here and there, talk about the baits, what's working, and that'll get you dialed in and give you an idea of how we're catching these fish. But it's going to help just from a time standpoint. And maybe we'll do it more frequently, but man, I can't every day. That's just crazy. It's just too crazy. So for the first couple of weeks, we're going to be doing a lot of sight fishing, like I said. It's going to be amazing fishing. I still have a few dates, July, August, September, October, November. There is some dates still available if you're interested in a guide trip with me. I also fish for other species, so walleye, salmon, trout, perch. And then we do some waterfowl hunting for sea ducks in the fall as well. That can all that information can be found at smallmouthcrush.com. Listen, as I was wrapping up the video, I thought of something. Here's the deal, DEC. You got these rules in place, but I also know you're not enforcing it at all. So if you're going to have a rule, can you at least enforce it? All these bass boats out here, watch them with binoculars when they're throwing their Ned rigs and their chatterbaits, and then you go up to them and you see them catch bass and they stay in one spot. And then you go up to them and they say they're just pike fishing. I know there's no way. It's very hard to get a ticket for targeting bass. Right? It must be. I mean, I could go out there and I could technically throw any soft plastic I want and say I'm targeting walleye or targeting northern. How is a judge going to cite you for targeting bass? I mean, unless you were catching bass and you stayed in one spot and you didn't move, I don't know how it's done. But it's also not being regulated. So you got guys like me that live up here that can't fish for bass 6 months out of the year in these two counties, yet you're not doing anything about the guys that are. I guess that's what gets me most irritated by these dumbass rules. Okay, rant over. Let's wrap this thing up. I think that's it. Our live shows every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can tune in. We love the interaction with the viewers. We look at all the chats and we answer questions, laugh at the comments, and we have a great time with my co-host Epic Eric. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time, we'll see you guys on the water.